I'm coming to you today from Brazil. Yay, 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 yay. Check on in, family. What has happened? Contact has been made on the flight to Brazil, on the Brazilian flight. I couldn't have asked for any other major event to happen before I even touched down for the second time. So come on in, check on in. FleurBrun has made contact once again with the ET group that actually made contact with me on flight. So this is interesting. So I'm in Brazil, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome. It's beautiful. It's amazing. Yes, the flight was amazing. The energy is high. Big up to Paola, which is Paula in English. She's my trekker, my warrioress, my, my major, that's the sea star that you want to go down with, you want to go through the apocalypse with. She's the one who's been here. So big up to Paola, who dealt with a lot of the energies as well. So there was contact made today on a flight, and we'll get into it. So big up to everyone joining in. Check on in. I am in Brazil. Yes. So I guess I should give you a tour. There's monkeys outside right now. I don't know if I want to go outside, but I could show you a little bit of the place, this beautiful home that a wonderful young man had just built. And this will be very similar to the sanctuary. So I think I like, I'm looking at the schematics. I'm liking the way it looks for the sanctuary. So check on in. And we're gonna get into ET conversation, and I made contact with an ET group and showed up right away. Yes, I'm being recorded, yes. No, the monkeys aren't right, they aren't there right now. So, hold on. I've got my Santo Paulo. I've just, listen, I have my Santo Paulo already ready. Look, I came packed and ready for the higher energies. Yes, Sonny, I came with the Santo Paulo. I was hooked up. I came to Brazil, and this is actually Paola's. I'm using some of, I brought it for her, but I'm using some, and she's watching right now. I'm using some of your Santo Paulo that I brought you from Peru. Like I said, it's a beautiful flight, but I had contact. Many of you will see some of the markings that were left on me. So we'll get into the conversation. Hold on. I'm gonna put down my, okay. Hold on, I'll give you a little bit. Yes, what happened? Yeah. What? Stop? Okay. No? Okay, stop. Okay. Hold on. Hold on, we'll get into the conversation in a minute. Oh, the bathroom? Okay. Okay, hold on. Go ahead. Okay, so I'm gonna actually go downstairs. I know I have little people running around in the middle of the jungle. So we're actually located in the middle of the jungle. I will not give it direct locations, as there's some people who might be coming down. So big ups to all those who are actually gonna come and chill out with FleurBrun in the middle. The house is actually in the middle of the jungle. Like I said, coming through, coming from Brazil, landing, I had to take 2 flights, and it's beautiful. It's just a rustic area, amazing. We actually saw one of the biggest, beautiful black monkeys chilling up in a tree earlier. So, okay, family, hold on. So, I can show you a little bit of what, this is my boudoir. Hold on one second. I'm gonna show you. I can show you a little bit of. Hold on. I have little people running around, so I have to make sure. So hey, yeah. So I'm actually here for those who are just checking in. I actually made it to Brazil. Grateful I'm safe. I'm in the middle of the jungle. It's a beautiful, beautiful rustic area. The house is actually set up in a way that I'm thinking I like for the sanctuary. So you can see a little bit of it. You can't see. This is outside right now. We have an upstairs area that you climb up, right up there, little area right there with the little ones are staying up there. It's like a little tree house up there. I can show you a little bit of outdoors so you get an idea. You'll hear the doggies. Okay. This is outdoors right now. It just rained, so you can hear the doggies barking. A little bit of a seating area right here. It's actually quite cool right now. Okay. And you can see the jungle right here. When you get a chance, you'll see, and the gate is over there. I have a little gate closing the door. You can't really see much there. Okay. Okay. Yep. Okay, hold on. Okay, so hold on. I want to get into the conversation. I'm waiting for, I got to go down this way. Come on. Okay. All right. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm taking so long. I'm on Brazil time. Everything takes, come on, Cookie. Everything takes a little bit longer. Everything's like basically nice and relaxed. Okay. Good night. Good night. Okay. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to. Hold on, family. Okay. There we go. All right. So this is my boudoir down there. So you can see. That's just here. Obviously, when you come here, and you'll see a lot of times when you come here, because we have a lot of nets, because there's a lot of mosquitoes, I will say, if you're not prepared for the mosquitoes, this is absolutely something that you may have to deal with, okay? So, okay. Okay, so okay. So family, this is the amazing part. So, I actually got on a flight at a roughly, it was an overnight flight, and preparing for my time coming to Brazil. You know, once you're landing, I think our flight left at 9:50. It was landing at 11:15 at one of the stations, and then I was to take another plane over to my final destination. The interesting part about this is that during the overnight, I had fallen asleep and woke up again. Many of you have known me for many years, so you know that one of the things that comes with me being a contactee is that I get sigils on my body. I actually get, what is it called? Hold on one second. Just leave it there. Okay. I actually get what you call, what is it called? Hold on one second. I clicked off accidentally. I went there. Yeah, I got tagged. It's called tag, but it's actually like it's called something else. It's people get them. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of it. Anyway, so I get them occasionally. You see, I usually post them on. You'll see I post them on my Instagram. You've seen them before, my tags, but they're not like other people's tags. Some people get tags with like little symbols, maybe a triangle. I actually get letters and symbols. So I actually get full-blown communication. Shows up fully communicable. I'll show the pictures of what I woke up with. So I was on a flight. I have a hard time sleeping. And then finally I fell asleep roughly around maybe 3:30 this time. I woke up to actual symbols on my arm. I didn't know where they came from. It was odd because how could this come anywhere? I've been sitting on a plane, I was sleeping, I didn't scratch myself, it wasn't anything like that, but I had symbols show up. So I knew that at that point something had happened, and it seemed a little surreal because I was like, okay, I knew that I was coming to Brazil for a form of contact. Many of you know I am in contact with the Andromedans, which is an Amazonian group, a Mayan group of women. And these women have been a part of my world from the beginning, from my conception. I've had physical contact with them. I have physical and tangible communication. And usually what happens with me, and it could be why I haven't been ever able to get tattoos, is because I actually get these markings on my body that show up as sigils and symbols and letters, okay? So I woke up with these letters with markings on my arm, and I knew something had happened. Now, what's interesting is my little one, who was also sleeping next to me. Now, this is something totally different. It was unrelated at the time. it was something that I realized that was relative to what happened with me waking up with markings on me, is that my little one said before she went to sleep at roughly the same time, she saw a flash in the middle of the sky while we're flying. She just looked at it, kind of surreal because she was exhausted, and she thought about it and she fell asleep. So she saw a flash in the sky. This is around the same time we both fell asleep. She didn't say anything because she was tired, and it wasn't until she saw that on my arm and she said, "Mommy, I think this is something that had contact with you because I saw a flash in the sky." I said, "Did you see a flash in the sky?" She said, "Yeah." She's like, "I saw it before we went to sleep, but I didn't say anything because I was so tired. I figured I'd remember when I woke up." So the flash in the sky, I woke up with symbols on my arm. Now at the same point, I'm taking all this in. I'm taking it as a sign that this is exactly the energies, or actually the influences that are coming from me going to a placement that I required to get some more intel on what is going to be for the new earth, for the new energies coming on the new earth. So second flight, I come in. Oh, we have all kinds of insects here. You want to see? Hold on. If you come to the jungle, you can't be afraid of insects because you're going to have insects everywhere. Look at this. Look at this little guy. Look at this. It's like a little, he's a little cricket. It's like a little cricket. It's not a spider or anything, it's a little cricket. I'm gonna put him outside in a minute. I don't hurt bugs, okay? Even though there's tons of mosquitoes here. We're gonna sleep under the net tonight. But that's a little cricket or grasshopper. He looks like a grasshopper, might be a little grasshopper. I'm gonna put him outside. It looks like a cricket though, because I think I heard a sound from him. So I'll put him outside. So coming on the second flight, I thought about it, was going on a second flight. I always take mental notes. I was like, I've got to take note that this is happening. I actually had contact on the first flight with an ET group that I know is likened to the Andromedans. They left symbols on my arm as usual, and I can't assume that it was them. A lot of times I may be futuristically leaving marks on my energetic body as clues or ways to get upgrades or information to be uploaded to my DNA. Sometimes I think that the futuristic version of myself sometimes is leaving these symbols on my etheric body, my energetic body, and it shows up on my physical body as clues. And again, I think these are things to help to activate some of my DNA. Now, on the second flight that I get on from Brazil, because it wasn't my last flight, I had to get on another flight. And during this flight, I'm closing my eyes and I'm kind of freaked out because as I close my eyes, I'm seeing aerial visions of a place. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm up, I'm awake, this isn't sleep. Why am I seeing a full-blown picture as soon as I close my eyes? I opened my eyes again and I said, this is crazy. It must be maybe I'm delirious from not sleeping that much. I close my eyes again and I get another full-blown imagery of another location. Now I realize that this could be very much related to the symbols that are activating my DNA. Remember, family, this for years is where FleurBrun was going to do her exodus and create her sanctuary. This is also the place that the Andromedans in this general location of South America were known to be a prevalent matriarchy in this area. That's also why I decided to go to Brazil for my sanctuary, okay? So the second imagery I got was full-blown, almost like remote viewing, but it was more tangible. It was like, just imagine you close your eyes for a minute and you see a full-blown picture in front of you, and then it's pulled back. So I knew I was being activated. Something had invoked my DNA to have this type of ability show up. Then when I closed my eyes one last time, I started to see like explosions of a star system, like almost like a stellar explosions. Maybe what my daughter saw the previous night when I had contact with her showed up on my body. So I realized, family, not only did I have contact with my celestial family, and this is what I know, or myself, because we can't take the excuse me, we can't take the credit away from the fact that ourselves, and it's not just me, many of you, your future versions of yourself or other timeline versions of yourself do leave you clues, especially if they're heightened in awareness and supersede our level in the more mundane timelines or time frames of intellect. So they will leave things on you. With me personally, Stigmatas, that's what it is. I get stigmatas on my body. That's what I'm noted for. So, you know, sometimes it used to freak people out when they'd be next to me and they'd see the symbols show up. People, that's how I don't even have to, I can't even make this up. There have been people who sat next to me who actually watched the symbols show up as if someone's writing on me at the same time. So these are things that I can verify. I have pictures. I'm quite sane. There isn't any cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs coming here. There are actually witnesses and accounts of people sitting in my midst, watching as symbols and sigils are showing up on my body, as if they're magically occurring or as something is etherically writing on my skin at the same time. And then we always document it with pictures, because you know I'm a Sagittarius, everything has to be tangible. So I make sure I take pictures to verify that these things are actually really happening, as opposed to, you know, some people will be like, oh, I went on a spaceship and, you know, it was in a dream. I'm not about that life. Everything I experience as far as contact, 90% of my contact is verifiable, it's provable, and usually it's witnessed. So that's what makes this very interesting. And it's also very interesting that in the ET UFO community, I'm one of the least people that's ever brought into forums with other contactees. And it also verifies that there is an undercover fear of those who are in contact with specific groups. And also, it's another verification that many of these people that you deem to be contactees are actually people who are imaginists. They aren't having full-blown contact, and a lot of them are elaborating, embellishing stories, or they're making up stories. Because one of the things is, if you're having contact, usually it's not in just dream form. Yes, sometimes, but what happens a lot of times is there's always verifiable facts. Usually you have missing time, which is something that you can verify with people saying maybe you disappeared, or people couldn't find you, or where were you, or you don't have a memory of it. Now, you can't be doing drugs or anything, because that's another reason why you may lose or black out. Now, if you're a full-blown alcoholic and you're you know, dropping like it's hot with some drugs, then of course you may indeed, and I don't want to make jokes of it, but you may indeed lose time frame and have missing time. Also, another way that you know you're a contactee is that there are always tangible things that occur. There are always things being left or flashes of light coming in front of you. You usually are definitely always seeing sightings. One of the ways I know that someone is having, whether they're visually witnessing ships, and not governmental ships, I'm talking about celestial ships, ships that are actually being navigated by terrestrials, extraterrestrials and interterrestrials, or others, okay? Another way that you're also having contact is your intellect, your actual synapses is enhanced. Most of the time if someone's having contact, their intelligence spikes, because once you're having interact with some of these higher field beings, because of the way that their energy tends to invoke some of your sleeping codons or the sleeper cells in your body, people say the junk DNA, they tend to activate it, which are memory cells that are usually muted by the foods we're eating, by the lower dimensional beings that you're interacting with as far as handlers or smiths, and also having low field DNA, which caps you. So some people are capped in their DNA, which disallows them from getting above a certain form of frequency, and that's purposefully done. That's why I tell you mating matters, okay? So it matters who you mate with, because if you mate with someone who's been genetically homogenized, who's been capped genetically, then it makes it very difficult for, even if you're having a level of interaction with anything that supersedes your level of perception, it's very difficult for you to take that in and then also be able to go further or investigate that aspect. Usually some people who experience some of these things will say, some people who are experiencing these things may say, oh, well, that was, I watched a movie, I watched Star Trek too many times, or, oh, I saw The Matrix and maybe this is just my imagination. Oh, I had one drink too many and I just saw that gray and it was my, it was like a figment because I had an imagery show up in a movie. That's a lot of times people not being able to take in the aspect of perhaps having interaction with some of these groups. So I just give you examples to say that if you are having the contact and it's a more tangible version of it, as far as seeing, talking, communicating, and having physical remnants of interaction with extraterrestrials, interterrestrials, and intergalacticals, because not all the time, family, are you engaging with extraterrestrials. A lot of people say it, but a lot of times, majority of people that you may know are actually having contact with interdimensional beings. These are beings that travel interdimensionally as opposed to intergalactically. Okay, so sometimes sometimes it could be both, but usually it's one or the other. Okay, because if you are of interest to some of these celestial beings or these beings from other timelines, it's usually because they are responsible for your lineage being here on Earth. And what do I mean by that? They are responsible for you being created and being fielded in with other genetics of some of their own genome pools. Okay, so that's also why you would be of interest, because people are saying, well, what makes you so special? It's not what makes you special, it's what makes you family. Okay, because you, just like in your normal family, why would you find out your family history? Why would you want to even do a family tree, right? So if you wanted to do a family tree, would you say to someone, why would you want to know where cousin Lou came from? Why would you want to know where your great grandfather came from? Why would you want to have any contact with cousins, distant cousins that are related to your family from Scotland or from Africa or from Liberia or from, or from Jamaica? It's because family is intrigued by family, and usually people want to follow their lineage. It's the same with ET groups. They will interact with their own, okay? So a lot of times, if you're having contact with these beings, it is because they've seeded your lineage, your bloodline, and they have interest in you because you are them. Okay, so you are part of their family. And does it make it scary? I think it's all relative to who you are. And I think, there are people out here who make many criticisms of different groups of ETs, and you can only make that criticism from coming from another group that has no association with that specific group that maybe somebody else is having. You can talk about all day someone being mixed with a draconian, but the person who's actually interacting with draconians, who's actually mixed with the lineage, they don't have that kind of fear. They may not be as aware sometimes, or they do, but the fear is not always there. So I wanted to state this. Let me go back to the context. So when I want to talk about Paola. Her name is Paola. I love her name, Paola, but it's so beautiful how she pronounces it in Portuguese. Big up to my homie who's here 5 minutes away from me right now, who trekked it with me in Brazil, who helped FleurBrun listen. Her Portuguese tongue allowed for my visit to be in Brazil so beautifully. So big up to the Sea Star who represents for the sisterhood, who came up here and made sure she treated FleurBrun like a sister. So what's interesting about my relationship with Paola is that she came, and at the same time on the second flight that I was having these weird flashes of geographical locations and then flashes of light, she's having a energetic wave hit her around the same time. And now she's waiting for me at the airport. She's making sure that everything's okay. At the same time that I'm experiencing this in flight, she's experiencing the energies hitting her this is why I'm saying things are verifiable, because unless we talked about it, we wouldn't be able to verify that both of us were having some form of upgrading or informational waves coming to us. So as I'm in the air, as above, below, she's having these waves, and she felt like she was going to pass out, like it just hit her. And she was like, she didn't know what happened. It came out of the blue. It just hit her. And she was about to pass out like an anxiety attack. And that's when the energies are hitting you. So she had a wave at the same time that I'm upgraded. That's how I know that we have some sort of connection. Maybe coming from the same, group of, tourists, tourists that come here on Earth as volunteers to do things. I have a feeling she comes from a similar star family. That's why we have that connection. And as soon as I landed and I was right in front of her, it disappeared. So isn't that odd? As soon as I landed and I made it to down on grounds and I came out of baggage claim and got my bags, she saw me, and the actual symptoms that she was having totally disappeared. And we have to say to ourselves, what does this have to do with anything? This is a verification. Sorry, family. Hold on. Drink some water. Water everywhere. Listen, one thing you will realize when you hit Brazil, water is life. And the water, the air here is amazing. You feel a higher vibration. I feel like I lived in my own bubble outside in Orlando, but this is another timeline. This is totally outside of the spectrum of anything that I've experienced. And again, it's my first time in Brazil, but the energies, the vortex here, you know, the way that the energies feel are totally different. So for those also, some of you may have had, I want to know some of you had the same energetic, some of you had the same energies hit you around the same time. Now, I'm an hour ahead from Orlando, so on the East Coast. So this energy hit me roughly, my flight landed at 11. So my energies hit me roughly around 10:30 or around 10:20. So if anyone has verification that they got the wave, because I don't think it was just us. I think it could have been linked to me having the contact, but I think a lot of us have similar celestial families. And these waves come and some of us are able to pick it up, you know, because you're very sensitive energetically. So if you have a time frame that you had it, that's roughly, because remember, many of you are coming from different timelines, like Australia, Hawaii, different timelines in Europe. If you can verify that time of the wave, it was incredible. So I have a feeling that many of us may have experienced that today, maybe at the same time, especially we're coming from the same star family. I mean, it would literally, she said when I got there, she said, and I didn't, she looked fine. Like when I saw her, she was good. She looked lovely. So, you know, perfectly kissed by, you know, Brazil kisses her, makes her look like amazing. She's already amazing. But why would I have such a strong, my abilities show up so differently after this contact I had on the first flight, and then my homie on ground is having an energetic wave hit her at the same time. I'm getting these geographical visions, what is it called? Scrying, like someone who's scrying or seeing things. It was so visual, it was scary. I was actually getting locations. I could see it. I could see it as clear as day. And it was weird because again, I just closed my eyes for a minute and it came. And it was as clear as like, I'm right there. I didn't smell anything. I didn't have sentient, you know, sometimes you have sense. I get a lot of sense with a lot of times I see things, but I didn't get sense. Oh, my cricket's okay. For anyone who's checking on my cricket, he's fine. He's over here. He's chilling out. I'm letting my cricket walk out here while I talk to you wonderful people. So if anyone had the wave, it was roughly around 10:30 a.m. East Coast time. Well, no, Brazilian time, which is an hour forward. So 10:30 here, so it would be 9:30 for East Coast. For those in the West Coast, it'll be around 6:30 for you. So verify if you had these energies hit you and you don't know where they came from, because it was so powerful. And she was like dumbfounded because she's like, oh my God, I didn't know where this came from. And as soon as she saw me, it disappeared instantaneously. And where you see the picture family, now further verification for anybody, big up to all the contactees, Barry Littleton, many of the masterful contactees that I speak to online, and many of the names that are contactees are people that you don't know because they're not part of the old brotherhood that kind of navigates and controls all these conferences, these UFO conferences. None of these are them. The majority of contactees that I know are regular people like you. Many of you are the ones who share your stories of having celestial events happen to you. Many of you had contact with other beings, futuristic beings that are your own lineage, yourself coming back in the past to visit yourself and having interaction or witnessing your energy. So the majority of people that I know that are contactees aren't notable people in the so-called UFO ET community that are having these wonderful forums of talking about, you know, blowing up starships, you know, having secret space missions, you know, bringing fleets of ships to them. They aren't them, they're you. So another verification, this is gonna bug you out, family. If you see in my thumbnail, look at my thumbnail. As soon as we landed, now mind you, family, I had contact on a ship. I had physical proof because it showed up on my body with symbols, which I'm going to share on Instagram. Then after that, on the next flight, I had another degree of an upgrading of my DNA where I can visually see locations, geographical locations, and some sort of celestial burst in my eyes. My homie Paola on land is having energetic waves hit her. Now, family, it gets even freakier. So now we get the car, we're driving to our final destination, which is a distance away, and we're driving. What do we see, family? In the thumbnail, what you see? We see an ET head. Someone drew on a concrete wall an ET head. that will bug you out. Mind you, I just had contact on my ship. I just had some sort of visual thing going on. My girlfriend just had an energetic wave that hit her before I came here. We're driving on the road, and as soon as we drove on the road, not even 10 minutes in, we're seeing a gray head or a zeta head on a wall. Then after we see the zeta head on the wall, the next left turn we make, we see a rocket ship taking off on another wall that someone drove. If you think that these things are synchronistic, if you think this is just by chance, I will tell you that you're confused. This was one of the places that I wanted to exodus to previous to the pole shift. This is one of the places that I wanted to create a sanctuary. And I'm very grateful, and I see why, that I was only allotted to come here at this specific time. This wonderful sea star, who basically was the reason why I came here. Remember, I was getting tons of fearful communication from everyone, saying everything awful. And this was the one sea star who said, listen, I'm here. She doesn't even know she lived, she's lived, obviously she's lived in Brazil, but she came to this location and she was the one who said, hey, it's fine. It's no chemtrails, anything. There isn't anything here. She's the reason why I came here. And that's why I say the universe is masterful, and whoever you're in contact with will always lead you and steer you in the right direction if you're receptive and open for it. So here I am in Brazil. The mosquitoes, I will say, mosquitoes are everywhere. Don't worry, I got the eucalyptus going, not the eucalyptus, I got the, what is it, the citronella going on. I got the natural citronella. I spray, listen, me and the Nista, because here it's beautiful. They only come in at a certain time, but they're voracious. So I made sure I am citronella'd up. So even when they come on, they don't want me. Big up to my homie that's here, who came, and she's on her own journey. I know that we come from a similar team of explorers. I feel a connection. We had a extraterrestrial, something happen on the plane to that last night. Amazing, and confirmation with seeing ET pictures as soon as we landed, and a rocket ship on another turn. I'm in awe. And this is only the first day family. I just got to Brazil. I just got to Brazil, and I'm already having contact. This is why I knew I was supposed to come here. It's amazing. It's amazing. So, big up to my homie here. I always butcher. She has such a beautiful name because they don't say Paola. It's Paola. Paola. It's beautiful. Portuguese here. And also for those who are traveling, listen, I couldn't have done it without her. Absolutely. Once I hit Orlando, they weren't speaking English much anymore. So even when I hit Orlando, Portuguese was the only language spoke. And then when I got off the plane, basically there isn't any English spoken. So I would say to anyone who's thinking of traveling here, you must have someone who is a native, because there wouldn't have been any way that I could have actually navigated through the communication that's required to be able. And I come also, remember, French is my first language, so I do respect the fact that when you go to someone else's country, you should make an effort to learn their language and do well. But it's beautiful. One of the things I love about coming to Brazil, if we're talking about Brazil, I see so many beautiful people that look so much like ourselves in the States, like beautiful. It's such an eclectic group of people, different type of people in Brazil. The mixtures are so unique and very interesting. I don't want to say them like they're specimens, but it's very beautiful to see the dynamics of people. Also, as a person of color, I always say I'm a copper woman, it's very beautiful to come to a country and see some amazing people that look like you. I thought that was amazing as well. So I'm grateful. I've had an amazing experience. This is the first day family. We had contact already. I plan to take pictures of ships in the sky. It looks like with this kicking off already, I can just imagine. Remember, I will be here for a month. So big up to all those. some people are trying to come down here. So I will be in Brazil for a month. So many of the shows that I do, any uploads, any lives I'll be doing from on location. And hopefully we'll be able to do things on site, especially if I get some sightings. I plan to really be receptive now because I see that there's communication happening much stronger, and this is why I was led to come to Brazil. And I want to put a little, a dig into Nature Nut. Nature Nut talks about living in the jungle. I'm in the middle of the jungle, family, the middle of the jungle. There are monkeys outside singing right now. They're basically, Paola, when we're driving through monsoons, like big lakes to get here. It was the most amazing, just the first day, the exploration, just the voyage. It's amazing to drive in the middle of the jungle and then you see your home there. I'm really grateful. So I look forward to sharing this exploration and the voyage. I look forward to also having more contact with my celestial family as I see that they led me here. And the highest heightened energetic time, which is in June, when many of the vortexes are opening, many of the stargates are being activated during this time energetically. And I look forward to sharing, every experience with you. And I think it isn't just me. And I don't want to say, I want to make this known. There isn't anything super special about FleurBrun. I have to say this every time because I think, this is what the pseudo UFO and ET community will tell you, is that they're special and you aren't. I'm a mommy, okay? I'm from Mount Vernon, New York. I come from island people. My first language was French. I'm quite normal. I make mistakes daily. There isn't anything super special about me. And that's what makes it very unique for me to speak publicly about my experiences with ET and UFO contact. And I want to extend that to you because I want you to stop mystifying or making it seem like those who say that they're better or more elite than you because they're having contact. I'm here to say that a normal mom from Mount Vernon, New York, who likes to enjoy her island music and just quite normal, and the basic propensities that I have is having a level of contact that is heightened. It has enhanced my life. It has made me more aware of who and what I am. And it has also made me more compassionate for my fellow human being on this earth. And it also has raised my consciousness in ways that I probably would never have gotten on my own, maybe this life. So stop putting people on pedestals because the majority, like I said, of ET contactees are you. And I hear it daily. I hear it in the emails. And I'm not talking about people who are talking about dreams. I'm talking about people who are actually experiencing and interacting with beings, otherworldly beings. And it's more, listen, family, what I will say is this. Listen, family, what I will say is this. I'm not saying that everyone's having it because that isn't true. I would be lying to you. But what I will say to you is the first time I came out on YouTube and talked about having contact with ETs, I was thinking that there wasn't many, and I was just hoping for one person to be able to say that they related to me, and that was Dr. Delbert Blair. At the time, Dr. Rest in Power, Dr. Blair. Dr. Blair was the only person who assisted me. I'd say it over and over again because I give him such honor. He was the only one who, because as a person of color too, there's a lot of stigmas with you coming out. Now, mind you, I've been a part of this community. I've talked about my own interaction with ETs, but there's a stigma attached to people of color stating that they're having contact because normally when you go to UFO conferences, there isn't any visual, representation of people of color, even though they're having it. Now, I will say fast forward in 2019, family, I am the number one, including Barry Littleton. We are the number 1 and 2 people who have heard the majority of people that have told us that they've had interaction and it's tangible. I'm not talking about people, and I'm not taking away people who are having dreams that are maybe having celestial dreams or memories. I'm talking about full-blown on people who are actually having physical contact with otherworldly beings. Myself and Barry Littleton are the only ones who have verified that there are hundreds of copper, brown, indigenous people having levels of contact that supersede anything that you will ever hear on any of these other platforms. When you hear with what's his name? David Wilcock, Corey Good, what is his name? Lear. There's a host of other people that talk about contact. What's the other gentleman? He always talks about blowing up space. He said you can't say secret space station because he's coined it or something, and you can get sued. I forgot it. I think that's Corey Good, right? Allegedly, that's what he says. Okay, allegedly. These are people that are never talked about. Melanin dominant people having levels of contact. These are people that do get phone calls from people, because we found out in the backlay that people are contacting them saying they are, but these are the people that are actually not being represented as part of the extraterrestrial contacted community purposefully. So I'm here to tell you, we see you. We understand, and like Delbert Blair, he didn't know me from Adam. I was a stay-at-home mommy with a newborn baby, having levels of contact that I had no knowledge of, and I didn't understand it. And this is when the Andromedans had always been part of my life, but I'm talking about the Zeta Reticulans and the Insectilians that came later on. I had no knowledge of it. And Dr. Delbert Blair was able to give me sensible advice, making sure, and also ruling out if I had any psychological or psychiatric issues, because sometimes, and we keep it real, in the contacted community, some of these things that some people are seeing could be linked to psychiatric issues, okay? So yes, that sometimes happens, but we gotta be careful with that, because the ETs that are contacting people could invoke in someone disconcerting ways that they're unable to, resolve their mind with the level of contact. So it could cause psychiatric issues. So we got to be careful with that too, because if you're having contact and you're already very empathic, you isolate yourself all the time, and you're not very socially astute, then of course psychiatrically you may show up with psychiatric issues, bipolar disorder or schizophrenic type of, and it may not be schizophrenia, but show up with like these things where you're hearing things, seeing things, and they diagnose you, and then they want to medicate you. So that does happen as well. So we want to make sure we really honor those who speak out publicly. But I just wanted to say that. Please stop putting people on pedestals that are part of this, because a lot of times when you're having contact, it does not make you feel necessarily special. It just makes you question the reality you're coexisting in, and it makes you question what is the purpose of us being here on Earth at this particular time, and the many interactions that we're having with people, and some people that aren't even real, or people who were sent here to be Smiths and to dilute our experiences, or to basically distract you so that you're never able to vet out what's going on with you. You're too busy, trying to hide it, or trying to be publicly appropriate, or you're afraid of what you're seeing so that you try to bury it inside of you. Many of you do that. So I wanted to give a face of a regular person that is just like many of you. Many of you, like I said, I talked to you on the phone. We're regular people having interaction, and it's not, and that's why I say take away from the putting people on. I'm looking for my cricket. I want to make sure my cricket didn't run. Okay, my cricket. I know I've taken on a cricket as a friend. I'm in the middle of the jungle. This is when, remember when, what's his name? Remember when Tom Hanks was in the middle of, he was on an island alone, and Wilson was his best friend, which Wilson was the basketball. I have a cricket as my friend. Thank goodness I have my little ones with me. But Wilson, I feel like Tom Hanks right now. I got a cricket. I'm making sure my cricket is all good in the hood. The cricket's fine. I was already started, and I'm only here one day making friends with crickets. It's gonna be an interesting month. So anyway, family, I'm interested to hear if any of you have experienced the volleyball. Thank you. It was the volleyball, not the basketball. Wilson, it broke his heart. Remember when Wilson floated away? Oh, it was, that was a hard, listen, I don't know if y'all felt away, but I was like, when Wilson went away and that was his only friend, listen, I felt bad for Tom Hanks. I was like, it's over. He's done. Like, Wilson was his only friend, his imaginary friend, and even the ball flew away. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Pavel. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Wilson, Wilson was floating him off. He was like, I can't do this. I can't. And then you see how the universe, even in the movie, the universe brings you, like, it took away something from him that really wasn't, it was something he created that wasn't real, and it allowed it to leave. But you see what happened? He got rescued close after that. So sometimes it's like we release something that isn't right for us or isn't healthy for us, and once we do that, something else masterful comes in. And if many of you have seen my journey over a while, you'll know that this Brazil trip was a long time awakening, and it wasn't until another sea star. Remember, there was a tragedy that happened before I came. I lost a baby, and you have to think of the universe. What if I was still pregnant? I wouldn't be here. So things happen that may look to you like they're horrific or they're negative, but the universe has bigger, better plans than you ever would even allow for yourself sometimes. So if you allow yourself to release things that aren't serving you and allow for your higher mind to guide you, wow. Could you imagine the wonderment of everything that could enter your life? We think about it so like nonchalant, like, oh, it does. It happens daily, and they call it miracles. It isn't a miracle. It's the same thing that the Christians say, let go and let God. It's just releasing and allowing room for better, more higher field energies and occurrences to occur. And you can't do that if you're hoarding things that aren't servicing you in a higher field and way. And I'm showing this with just me. And I hope that many of you, if you have dreams of doing something special and you see the universe allowing a way easily and effortlessly for that to come about, take my advice and follow my lead. I'm not a teacher, but follow my lead. You've watched me all these years. I've evolved, and I'm doing everything that I desired to do, and I'm doing it on my own family. So there aren't any requirements, but there are angels that will come and assist you. Like, Paola is like an angel to me. She's like that spiritual friend that shows up, and she shows up at the right time. So there are support groups, like support physical, I call them like angels, support spiritual angels that will show up in your life to support your dream and your journey. Allow them in. And sometimes it's not a matter of you just being so overly protective or so overly cautious that you disallow for actually healthy energetic people to come in. Sometimes you have to allow for someone to show themselves and then take that in and see what that is, and she's one of them. So that is why FleurBrun is here. And what they say what they say, have a dollar in a dream. I remember, what was that? Where'd that come from? Have a dollar in a dream? Wasn't that like a New York thing? It was beautiful. Oh, I want wind chimes out here. I can hear the you go? Yeah, I can hear the monkeys. I can hear them outside. Anyway, family, so let me see if I can read. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. I'm gonna read some of the comments. Oop, I'm so close. Fleur, this last time jump was masterful. Yes, the timeline jump we did, right? Aaron, timeline jump was cool. And you know what's interesting, because the timeline jump that we did, many of you joined. Some of you joined on Instagram. Remember we did the timeline jump? We about this life. Big up to everyone who joined the timeline jump. We really, it takes a certain person and an imagination to be able to allow for this. You got like the most interesting. I'm gonna be making friends with bugs. Let me go back to myself. It takes a lot of guts to take your imagination and join a bunch of people who have the same type of imagination. Say, listen, I'm not rocking with this timeline. I'm gonna focus on where I like to, because we know that there's a collapsing of timelines. If you accept that we're going into a higher field of energetic evolvement, with Mother Earth's ascension and with the energetic field collapsing, bringing us back to 0 point. And with the collapsing of the different timelines, we can choose. We can pick and choose where we want to go. Now, for most other groups of people, they'll be like, oh, you can't choose where you go. Why couldn't you? What's the point of instant manifestation? What's the point of us talking about and bringing things into fruition with bringing that energy if we can't do it in a more heightened way, not just one specific thing, but a whole timeline? So we did that. It was successful every single time. So big to everyone enjoying the timeline. And it was always different each timeline jump we did. The last one was amazing because it was such a big leap and a jump. And it's probably the reason I'm here in Brazil right now. And it actually disconnected me from energies that would disallow for me to travel this distance in this way. So that also is a testament that the timeline jump did work, because this is not something I would do this, but it wouldn't probably be in this way, and it may not be at this time. So thank you for everyone who really joined in that, because it just helped to solidify that you are the steer of your own ship. And if you put the sail in a specific direction that you want to go in, you will always go. But if you don't believe that you can do that, then you'll never put your sail up. You won't even know that you can directionally guide your ship, and you will always be flowing in the direction of the, the herd, or the general consensus of all the other beings that have their own agenda. Okay, so you can do that. You didn't need a group. We just did it collectively because we knew it would work. And it's nice to it's also nice to work with collective, because all our energetic concentration on something helps it come a lot quicker and much more substantial. So that was cool. Yeah, Luna's about this life. Luna's all about energy. Luna showed up for that too. Luna's down. Big up to Luna. Luna Ash is always down. Like she's got that energy. She's able to read energy and feel out energy. Close that door. Okay. So there's upstairs. There's another. Go get. Okay. So she joined for that collective as well. A lot of people joined that last timeline jump. It was good. Thank you for bringing that up. Sometimes I'm a Sag. We do so much so quickly. It was awesome. So I guess the question is, now I've had contact the first day. I didn't even land, and I'm having contact with ETs. This is going to be an interesting month. I look forward to having interaction with my celestial sisters. That is why I am here. I'm looking forward. I'm grateful for the exodus of coming to the jungle. Like I said, Nature Not talks about living in the jungle. He hasn't been in the jungle in this way. This is literally the jungle. And it's rustic and it's beautiful, and it's showing up so masterfully already. I'm grateful for all the protection that many of you do for me, sending out well wishes and protection things, because at the same point, we can go through these things, but it's nice to have a supportive team that backs you, because I back you guys when you do something masterful and beautiful, and I'm grateful when you do exactly that. I really honor that. So thank you for doing that, because you allow for me to show up in ways that, have a field of security around it. Oh, well, yes. No, well, there's many of the people here, this location that I'm in, many of the people here are from the tribes. This is where all the, I don't want to say Indians, the indigenous are here. So you can see it in the features of just the regular people walking around, the mixtures. But we plan to go, there's a gentleman who does these treks. So we plan to do see some of the tribes here, okay? And their names are a little different. Remember, I come from a specific tribe. I'm mostly mixed with the Carib, okay? And some Arawak, because my bloodline is mixed with the Arawak and the Taino, because the Taino are cousins of the Arawaks and the Caribs. So remember, my ancestors came from South America, which makes this very interesting, because if we talk about returning to 0 point, FleurBrun is actually going back to 0 point, going back to where my ancestors actually migrated. They actually migrated out of South America. So probably the reason why I was being activated is because maybe I'm going to the very location that my ancestors actually began. So that's what's also interesting. So I look forward to seeing the tribes, and I'll take pictures. You guys will see it. I love sharing. This is one thing. there isn't any hoarding information here. This is another thing that I'm grateful that I have this personality. I will share. I will share everything. I'll show you pictures of the beautiful indigenous. I want you to see them, and I want you to be able to witness these beautiful people and, you know, see some of their propensities. Learn a little bit about the different indigenous groups. Every group is very different and unique, and the groups here, the names are not familiar to me. So I'll make sure that I give respect to them, honor to any of our indigenous brothers and sisters here, and also take note, and also try to create healthy liaisons with them so that we can heal bloodlines, which is very necessary. Sorry, family, I'm here. I'm gonna go chill out. Where's my cricket? I'm still looking. Where's my cricket? Wilson. I'm gonna be out here calling. I'm gonna be calling Wilson. Yes, I'm gonna be here. Don't leave. You guys want to chill out? I want to play some. Yeah, I want to play some. My speaker, because one thing, if you travel to Brazil, just know your outlets don't work. It's like in Europe, they have different outlets. So I only have like one charge. When Paola left one charger, the thing, she actually left it in the house. So I only have one charger. The thing that, because we don't have the same outlets. Remember that? So you need like connection. So anybody who comes here, make sure you have the outlets. If you're in Europe, you have them. So that's very normal. So many of you use them, but here I didn't pick any of the connectors. So I have one. So I can't play my speaker at the same time because I want to play da 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 da. As soon as you get on, you hear the music, you're like, oh yes, Brazil. Oh my gosh! I got on the plane, and you know it's like da 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 da. You hear it, it's like, oh, that speaks to my heart. Oh, wow. Yeah. So you know, like I said, it's very unique, very beautiful. Distribution of different bloodlines in Brazil. It isn't just one. I see many different faces of different phenotypes. Lower that. They're listening to their thing downstairs. You want to go to Brazil? Like I said, it's a very unique place. It's if you've not been here, it's very, remember, I'm in a more rustic area. So you remember, Brazil is a huge, listen family, it's a huge country. Even when I was flying, we had flown over Brazil and started, and then 4 hours later, we were still flying over Brazil. It's a huge country. And each city is like a different, like but big up to my homie, like she just really shared with me, like each country, the people are so different. It's almost like you're living in a country that has many countries within it. It's much different than the United States, though, I will say, because even the personalities getting on the different planes from one arena to Brazil to another, personalities changed. I mean, literally, it was almost like you were going to a whole nother country. The physical way that people looked changed too. So it's very, very interesting. So I say if you come here, it's beautiful. But I will say this, if I did not have my homie with me, it couldn't have happened. I'm so grateful for her. She really made this experience and is making this experience amazing. And I'm grateful to her because getting off of that plane and haven't any idea of the language. Remember, I speak French and I speak English and I speak Spanglish. Big up to all my New Yorkers, we speak Spanglish. My Spanish is okay and my understanding in Spanish is really good, but I speak Spanglish. Portuguese is, you know, you say bon dia, you know, say bon dia. You know, every time they say bon dia, it's like good day, bon dia, you know, or obrigada, you know, it's the thank you. It's a beautiful accent, very luminous people, just beautiful, just, you know, it's very unique. So if you want to visit, always have somebody with you. Like I said, big up to YouTube who brought us all together. A lot of the homies that I met, the beautiful people that I meet with you guys here. And listen, I'm a physical person. When I really appreciate someone, we will always meet up. I'm okay with that. So you love Portuguese. It's amazing. Yeah, it sounds like Italian. It's because, remember, they border. I think, you know, even in Portugal, I think they border a part of Italy. So sometimes the accents, you know, kind of get mixed along with, you know, your neighbors. So it's very interesting. And what else I found interesting? The food. Now, The food now, what I say is the food is very, like even on the plane, big up to the Bowl. I took Bowl Airlines. I really appreciate the airlines. Bowl Airlines is a Brazilian, well, I think they fly to other places, but a Brazilian airline. They were amazing. I've never taken this airline before. I didn't know. Paola told me about the airlines. I called them. That's how I booked my ticket. They treated us like gold. Gold is their name. Gold is the name, Gol. But they treated us like gold. So if you ever think of an airline to go to Brazil, I really appreciated them. I hope they always stay that way. They were a better airline than I've taken a lot of airlines and I've flown to a lot of countries and I've been in a lot of places. They, to me, did well. They were very accommodating. I was the only person on the plane, myself and my daughters, who did not speak full-blown Portuguese. I was the only person who was in Brazil. Most of the people on the plane were Brazilians or married to Americans who knew Portuguese. I was the only person, and they treated me absolutely well. Immigration, I'm grateful. Immigration, absolutely. The gentleman, now what I will say for my sea stars, because a lot of the men, I noticed that men will talk about flying to Brazil, but let me say something, sea stars. I have to say this to you. One thing that I did know is that the men of Brazil are handsome as all heaven. And I will tell you, they are absolutely, you get enamored. I'm behaving myself. I'm on family duty. So, but I'm just saying, when I got on the plane, especially when I was taking off, and they are not shy to let you know that they are in admiration of you. You know, even sometimes to the detriment of the person that they're standing next to. I think that's, that's very interesting. Like there was a couple times, you see some of the sons, some of these men hugging, and they're very romantic. They hug their mates, but they're looking at you the whole time. It's a very interesting dynamic. They're lovers here. You can see it. You can see it in the reaction. Yeah, but they're very... I know the men talk about the most beautiful women are Brazilian women, and I can't say that that isn't true, but what I will say is you need to add in the male factor, because there's a lot of handsome Brazilian men, more so than I would have anticipated. So for all those sea stars, for all those sea stars, for all those sea stars looking for, well, I don't know how faithful they'll be, because like I said, even if the men looked, they still would look when they're hugging. They would purposefully hug their mates just to look. It was very interesting. Different dynamics, different culture. I believe that the men are hot. Yeah, like they had a Terminator. Listen, I had to go through custom, what was it? I was going through customs, listen to this. So I go through customs, I get my bag, because you have to recheck your bag once you're going on another flight if you're coming international and you're not from there. So I had to go through customs. Listen, I went through customs, I saw, you know how Thanos looks? Thanos? Take Thanos in thickness, not his little neck or anything like that. Thanos from Infinity Wars. Take like a big, huge, oh my God, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Nardo, thank you. Infinite gratitude for your knowledge. I so appreciate that guidance and strength. I am honored to have experienced your beautiful existence within our timeline. Thank you so much, Narda. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Narda, you would appreciate the visuals that I saw in the airport. But like I said, we had Thanos. His body was like, I looked surreal. He was waiting there. He looked like the Rock times 10, but handsome. Just like a big stone figure. I thought I was being punked. I was like, they're trying to punk me? Maybe they know I'm getting off the plane and they just want, that's how unreal he looked. He was just standing there all stoic and strong and virile and tall and big. And I just walked, because I'm with my family. I just walked and just, thought to myself, I try to keep my telepathic thoughts to myself, but my God, I was like, what did they do? They like beefed up. Oh, and another thing, family. Okay. This is another thing that I noticed. I'm sorry, let me get comfortable. Another thing that I noticed is that, there are, when you go to the vegetable, because we didn't go to, we went to a market, like a market before we left. All the fruits and vegetables are supersized. Listen to me, family. You know when they say the rainforest is where all organic things, all the soil is like a bright red. It's absolutely, the soil looks like God. I'm going to take samples because you know that's what I do agriculturally. So I plan to take samples to see if these are places that I want, especially I want to know the land. But listen, all of the, I've never seen, they had, what is it, okra? The okra was like it was like a monster size. I was like, what? I was like, this okra? And Paola's like, yeah, they're all big. Everything's big here. And I was like, wait, the scallions were like tall grass. I was like, where are these things coming up so big? And it's not from chemicalizing, it's not from pumping them with hormones, because it's coming from a place where so many, we get all our medicinals from rainforest. I picked up one avocado. You want to see the avocado I picked up? Wait, let me show you the avocado. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just be about it. Look at this avocado. Look how big this avocado is. This is one avocado. And this was the smallest one. Look how big this is. This is their avocado. Look how big in my hand it is. It is crazy. I'm going to show you the other stuff. I was like, wait. I was like, they're collard greens. I'm going to go in my fridge. Because you know I went and got greens. Hold on. They had seeded watermelon. Hold on, I'm going in my fridge. YouTube, I'm sorry. I'm so personal. This is why I'm saying I'm not super special. Look at this. Look how huge. These scallions, I know, they're falling down. Look how huge they are. Everything is like super sized. I was like, we're in a jungle. And these, like, it's basic stuff. Hold on. I'm gonna show you everything that I bought. This is what happens when you're a mom. Moms matter. Listen, look at this. Look at this. What do you think this is? Look family, look at this. Look at this greens. This is amazing. You can smell, I grow these. It's Agartha. You're absolutely correct. Look at, it's bigger than, look at this. I could fan myself with these. It's huge, the colors, and they smell amazing. Look how beautiful they are. They smell like God. There aren't any chemtrails here where I am. 0 chemtrails. Look at this, smells amazing. I was gonna make you smell it. You can't. I don't want you to smell it. Wild. What else do they have? Oh, I didn't get the full one, but you already know. They have seeded watermelon. Oh yes, seeded watermelon. I'm so happy. I have seeded watermelon. Matter of fact, family, I'm gonna eat with you. I'm gonna have my seeded watermelon right now, okay? Okay. I went, look, you saw those collard greens? Those collard greens are like, what? They're like Megatron collard greens. I saw that, I was like, what? The avocado, I was like, why is everything supersized? It's wild. So, these are the things. So listen, if I do, this is my exodus here. This is my exodus here. But if I'm doing a sanctuary, we gonna have mega everything. Remember, the giants are coming. The Amazonians are coming back. Hold on. Oh, look at my time. I know. I didn't go crazy at the grocery store because it wasn't the actually market. We're gonna go to the market tomorrow. Oh, it's gonna take me to the market. I had to get some stuff because I didn't have anything in the house. So. I want to show you my time. Hold on. If I can get him out. Hold on. Look at this guy. Oh my God, look at that. Look at this. See? Look at that. It's amazing. Oh, the price. Okay, now prices, family. You know, I keep it real. Family, I bought all this stuff. Like, everything I bought was like $20 in our money. So the dollar here, remember, the dollar here has more power. So I went, normally what I would spend at like somewhere in, you know, maybe $50, $60, I'm spending 20 bucks, if that, 14 bucks or 20 bucks on this stuff. So you go here, fruit is like nothing, and that's at the market. I mean, if we go out on the road, it's gonna be amazing. So remember, I had to get some stuff, some staples for the house because I didn't have anything. Yeah, it's like, all the fruit, but everything is like God. So I'm gonna eat my watermelon because you guys don't want me to leave. So I'm gonna eat my watermelon. I'm gonna eat my seeded. Let me get a dish. I want to be like a heathen. You see how clean the table is? I'll be like a heathen eating my watermelon. Let me get a... Okay. See my dishes. I have dishes under here. Okay, so I have my dish and my watermelon. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna eat my watermelon with you. Oh, it looks so good, right? Seeds and everything. So I look forward. And then I had coffee, because I did the real coffee here. Now their coffee is, listen to this. Their coffee, you want to, let me show you the coffee here. So I wanted to get real Brazilian coffee. I'll show you. From here, I'm gonna show you what I got. So I wanted to get real Brazilian coffee, right? So I tasted this coffee. Paola brought me to a place that had really good coffee because I had no coffee. I said, I want real Brazilian coffee. Look, I got this coffee and this is what it's called. But let me tell you, family, it tastes like God. Now this coffee is like in our money, $2. $2 in our money. That's how much the coffee is. They don't put cream in their coffee here. This is not one of those places that they put cream in. And then I bought my press. You know, I have a French press. So like I bought my, this is my French press. So I travel with this. This is my French press. So I just travel with my French press. I make my coffee. I don't like my, there's a tag still on here. Okay. This I'm gonna make my coffee in the morning. Okay. But the coffee was like, they don't put a, I know. I'm telling you all to come. You know, this is, I'm not one of those people that hoards information and so on. I'm like, listen, if I'm doing it, I want everybody to have a good time. Yeah, I put the coffee, so the coffee was like